Good morning, Radical Praisers. We're so glad you joined us again this morning to continue our journey on kindness. Last week, Pastor Bird kicked off this lesson talking about the greatest act of kindness ever displayed. Jesus' death on the cross, his burial, and ultimately his resurrection. We often think about kindness in terms of a single act of kindness instead of a lifestyle. See, Jesus' death and resurrection was not his only act of kindness, just his final. His entire ministry was a life of kindness. Feeding the 5,000, giving sight to the blind, healing the man at the pool of Bethesda, stopping the stoning of a woman caught in adultery. I could go on and on and on. See, kindness isn't a one-time event. The Bible tells us that we are to clothe ourselves in kindness, which goes far beyond just doing kind things for others every now and then. So how do you do that? Hey, before we get into that, let's take a minute to praise and worship our God.
You hold me down like lo lo lo. Your love is sweet like me lo lo. You make a promise, then you deliver. You never fail me, no no no. What type of loving? You ain't a fight on my battles. You put the boy on the way for this victory.
Yeah, fight for the weak and the poor. That's how we go and rise from the ashes. Plus we get our knees to the floor. That's how we go and find any answers. Can't find peace with a sword. That's how you know the fight is supernatural. Yeah, heartbeat to the core. We retreat to the Lord when it's time for some action. Mighty God, mighty God, mighty God. Fight with the king, get the spoils. Mighty God, mighty God, mighty God. Blood and bones in the soil. Walk with a bodyguard. Only go to war with the lawyer. Yeah, saints like arms that you cannot fall when God is before you.
Your love is sweet like me, lo lo. You make a promise, then you deliver. You never fail me, no no no. What type of loving? You ain't a fight on my battles. You put the boy on the way for this victory. So we're singing. This is the sound of a victory. We say. This is the sound of a victory. Now put those hands together. This is the sound of a victory. This is the sound of a victory.
Yeah, victory, victory, victory. We got the victory. Yeah, empty the infantry since Jesus conquered our enemies. Yeah, blood and bones in the soil. Only go to war with the loyal. Yeah, saints like arms that you cannot fall when God is before you.
Yeah. Your love is sweet like me, lo lo. You make a promise, then you deliver. You never fail me, no no no. What type of loving? You ain't a fight on my battles. You put the boy on the way for this victory. So we're singing. This is the sound of a victory. This is the sound of a victory. This is the sound of a victory. We This is the sound of a victory.
This song is for everybody who found yourself in a situation you didn't know how you were gonna get through. God is with you. Lift up your head on your gate and watch the King of Glory come in.
Say you hold me down like lo lo lo. Your love is sweet like me, lo lo. You make a promise, then you deliver. You never fail me, no no no. What type of loving? You ain't a fight on my battles. You put the boy on the way for this victory. So we're singing.
See, kindness is a fruit of the Spirit. That means if you're living the way you're supposed to be living, according to God's word, then kindness will be a fruit that grows out of your life. When you think about kindness, what comes to mind? Probably an action, right? Doing something nice for someone else. What if we stopped thinking of kindness as an action and started thinking of kindness as an entire lifestyle? Colossians 3:12 says, "Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourself with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience." This verse says that we're supposed to clothe ourselves with kindness. Now, when you get dressed for the day, do you just wear your clothes long enough for someone to see them before taking them off? Of course not. That would defeat the purpose of wearing clothes. In the same way, kindness should not be a single act, completed and then forgotten. Instead, it should be something we put on, wrapped all around us, and wear all day long. Do you think it's really possible to clothe yourself in kindness and wear it all day long? Do you think it's really possible for kindness to be something that filters into everything you do all day? It is. And I'm going to tell you 3 ways you can keep kindness wrapped around you all day. With your words, with your actions, and with your attitude. Hey, so first we'll talk about kindness with your words. It's incredibly easy to be unkind with your words, saying the first thing that comes to mind, or not taking time to think about your attitude before you speak can result in a lot of hurt feelings and a lot of regretted words. However, it can also be incredibly easy to be kind with your words. How, you say? By taking a little extra time to think about your words before you speak them out loud. This may sound like a lot of work, but it's really not. Actually, it's pretty easy. You just need to ask yourself one question. Are these words kind? If the answer is yes, that's awesome. Clothe yourself in kindness with your words. If the answer is no, then just don't say them. Think of different ways to say what you want to say, this time using kindness. Hey, so the next one I want to talk about, I say kindness with your actions. Our actions should be kind. This may seem like a duh point, but ask yourself, do you take the time to think about whether or not your actions are done in kindness? In the busiestness of our lives, everyday life, kindness can quickly become something that's shoved aside in favor of convenience. Why? Because it's just not convenient to be kind. It's way easier to just be selfish. So this week, as you're going about your normal routine, take the time to purposely think to make sure your actions are kind. Don't only think of how your actions affect you or what people think of your actions. Think about how you can exhibit kindness with your actions and then do it. All right, so we talked about kindness with your words and kindness with your actions. Now let's talk about kindness with your attitude. This can be a tricky one. How many of you struggle with having a kind attitude all the time? Yeah. So think about it. When somebody is getting on your nerves, is your attitude toward them kind? What about when somebody is unkind to you? Or what about when things don't work out the way you want them to? Does your attitude show kindness? Hey, there's only one person who has complete control over your attitude, and that one person, it's you. So take control of it. When a situation happens that make you feel irritated or selfish or any other unkind emotion, take a deep breath and choose to react with kindness. If this is something you struggle with, ask God to help you. When you feel yourself struggling to have a kind attitude, pray and ask Him to help you have more kindness in your heart and less of whatever else is going on. God loves you and wants to help you, so ask. Job 6 chapter verse 14 says, anyone who withholds kindness from a friend forsakes the fear of the Almighty. In this verse, fear doesn't mean to cower in the corner, terrified. It means to rever and to respect. Here it says that withholding kindness from a friend is forsaking the fear of God. In other words, if you're not being kind to those around you, you aren't respecting God. That doesn't sound too good, does it? But that's how important kindness is to God. It's so important that His word says that withholding kindness from a friend is withholding fear and respect from Him. That's a big deal. It's so important to show kindness to everyone, even the people who you don't feel like being kind to. No matter what people look like on the outside, or no matter what their life looks like from the outside. You never know what they're going through on the inside. It can never hurt to be kind to someone, but it can hurt to be unkind to someone. Have you ever heard the saying that you may be the only part of Jesus that someone ever sees? It also can be phrased as you may be the only Bible someone ever reads. It means that there are some people in your life who may never go to church or open the Bible, so you are the only exposure to the Word and to Jesus that they may ever have. In the same way, there may be some people in your life who think of Jesus as a mean and scary, but they've never truly been introduced to him. See, you may be the only example of his kindness that they ever see. Now, I know that's a big responsibility. Every single day you're going to be faced with the choice. Be kind or be unkind. Your words, your actions, and your attitude. These are all things that you'll have to choose kindness in. Kindness will not always be the easiest choice. In fact, sometimes kindness will be the hardest choice, but it's the right choice. Hey, take a minute to to look at this quick video.
I'd say, as a goal in life, you could do worse than try to be kinder. In 7th grade, this new kid joined our class. In the interest of confidentiality, her name will be Ellen. Ellen was small, shy. She wore these blue cat's eye glasses that at the time only old ladies wore. When nervous, which was pretty much always, she had a habit of taking a strand of hair into her mouth and chewing on it. So she came to our school and our neighborhood and was mostly ignored, occasionally teased, "Your hair tastes good?" that sort of thing. I could see this hurt her. I still remember the way she'd look after such an insult, eyes cast down, a little gut kicked, as if, having just been reminded of her place in things, she was trying as much as possible to disappear. After a while, she'd drift away, hair strands still in her mouth. Sometimes I'd see her hanging around alone in her front yard as if afraid to leave it. And then she moved. That was it. One day she was there, next day she wasn't. End of story. Now, why do I regret that? Why, 42 years later, am I still thinking about it? Relative to most of the other kids, I was actually pretty nice to her. I never said an unkind word to her. In fact, I sometimes even mildly defended her. But still, it bothers me. What I regret most in my life are failures of kindness. Those moments when another human being was there in front of me, suffering, and I responded sensibly, reservedly, mildly. Or to look at it from the other end of the telescope, who in your life do you remember most fondly, with the most undeniable feelings of warmth? Those who were kindest to you, I bet. But kindness, it turns out, is hard. It starts out all rainbows and puppy dogs and expands to include, well, everything.
While the video was playing, were you thinking of any specific person or situation? Here's the deal. Most likely you're going to have a few regrets in life. You'll make mistakes, miss opportunities, or do other things that will make your stomach hurt when you look back on them. I'm telling you right now, don't let a lack of kindness cause those regrets. You have no idea how much your kindness can mean to someone. It can mean just a little, or it can mean everything. But as a follower of Jesus, as an example of Jesus, it is your responsibility to be kind. So this week, I want you to think about a few questions. 1, have you ever regretted not showing kindness to someone? 2, when you talk without thinking about what you're going to say, is the result usually kind or unkind? 3, do you take the time to think about whether or not your actions are kind? If not, is that something you want to start doing? 4, do you think that others would describe your attitude as kind? If not, why? And 5, what are some ways that God has shown you kindness? Hey, before we close, I want to tell you one more thing about kindness. The more you're kind, the easier it is to be kind. The more kindness you show to others, the easier it is for them to be kind to you. Kindness is contagious. I got a little example I want to show you, all right? I got a pitcher of water. I added a little food coloring so that you can see better. I'll pour up all 4 of these cups. Whoop, making a mess. All right. I want to show you guys an example of how kindness works. We're going to use this water as an example of kindness. So let's pretend this cup is you, and that you've chosen to clothe yourself in kindness. So when you have an interaction with somebody else, you choose to act in kindness, even though they don't seem very kind. So you act in kindness toward them, and then they leave. You don't know what kind of impact your kindness had, but you know that you did what you should have by acting in kindness. So then this person you were kind to, let's say they bump into someone else. While their first interaction would normally be to be kind, they were impacted by your kindness you showed them, so they decide to act in kindness. Now this person is just brimming with the kindness because of their interaction with the person that you were kind to. So what happens when they see someone who seems to be completely empty of kindness? They don't even think twice. They just act in kindness. See how all the cups have water in them now? It's the same way with kindness. It just spreads and spreads. The more you give of it, the more you filled. If you want to overflow with kindness, start acting in kindness towards others. It won't be long until you're so full of kindness that you just can't contain it. Well, hey, that's all the time we have for today. Have a great week, and don't forget to be kind. Love you guys. Peace.